So next in Atlanta, the flight out of Philly, no problems, landed basically on time. Got there around 12:30. So one of the funny things is as I mentioned before, since I get the wheelchair access, um, the there usually is a wheelchair waiting for you at the terminal, right? Take you to the next spot. Well, the I didn't bother looking at the ticket, and so I go up to I walk up the gangway, whatever you want to call it, off the plane. Get to the terminal, and there's a couple of people that, like from the airport, that are pushers of the wheelchairs. And so I go up to one and I tell him like my name and like, "Are you over here for me?" And he's like, "Nah, it must be somebody else that maybe just walked by." Okay, sure. So I'm kind of waiting around, but I wanted to pull out my ticket to see where the next gate was and what I wanted to do. So I came in on terminal A32. I looked at my ticket, and my departing terminal was A33. And I looked around, and it was literally across the terminal. So I was like, well, I don't need a wheelchair for that, since it's literally right there. So I waited around a little bit, and then finally, like, I guess I passed the guy coming. He was going down, I was coming up, and just didn't pay attention to one another. So he comes out, and I'm like, "Hey, are you here for me?" And he's like, "Yeah, Ian." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't think I need you." And I kind of point over to the terminal, and he looks up and he's like, "Yeah, I guess so, man." Kind of like fist bump, like, "All right, dude, have a good one, easy trip." Um, so yeah, so he walks on, and I go over to the area, and I'm like, all right, well, I have 3 hours, give or take, that I'm gonna spend here, and because of the timing on everything when we left Philly that morning, I really hadn't eaten anything, so I'm like, it's time for something to eat. So thankfully, just a few stores down from the terminal, there was a Dunkin' Donuts. It made it really easy to just kind of get a small get a coffee, not a small coffee, get a coffee, and a bacon, egg, and cheese. Something to have something in my stomach. And then the bathroom was like a few stores down, so got everything taken care of there. And then I just kind of sat on my phone for a few hours, reaching out to people, letting everybody know that at least I started my journey, and that the first leg was done. So it made it pretty easy to relax there, since I didn't have to go very far. Uh, the thing is that I guess technically, because I was like sky priority, I could have used the Delta Lounge, which, um, so in the Atlanta airport, it is almost like a spine with ribs. Like, as far as I can tell from what the looks like of the airport layout is, basically there's a central column, and then there's these wings come off in each of those terminals. So where I was, the Delta Lounge was at like the spine, and I'm like, well, I thought about going down there and hanging out there, but I'm like, all right, well, it's going to take me like taking my time. I'm not rushing, like, 15 minutes maybe, just to walk it, get there, hang out for an hour, maybe hour and a half, then walk back for moderately more comfortable chairs, whatever. And I already eaten, so it wasn't like I needed anything like that. So I was like, you know what? Not gonna worry about it. I just sat here and pulled up the map. I'm like, what is in this airport? And I saw that. I was like, well, yeah, again, theoretically, I could have used it, but like, not gonna worry about it. So after the wait time, and the plane was getting ready to board, so I pre-boarded there as well, because now we're going from Atlanta to LA, which the travel time was 5 hours. So I was leaving leaving Atlanta at around 3 p.m., and I was gonna get there at around like 4 p.m. their time, but because time zones, like, yeah, it works out. So needless to say, uh, that flight was a little longer, so I was getting about 5 hours. So that one I was able to watch two movies. um, the I tried taking a nap because like obviously by this point like it's the travel starting to get to me a little bit, but like like laying down is the best way for me to fall asleep. Get my feet up, whatever. But sitting in those chairs, not really an option in those seats. So they were relatively comfy, but when you have people behind you, I was just like, I'm not gonna lean back that far. Not that I could anyway, but I was like, all right, it is what it is. Just kind of to close my eyes here and there, but for the most part, just kind of hoofed it through. And actually, somehow we managed to land about 20 minutes early in LA. So I guess we had some good tailwind, gave us a little bit of boost, and yeah, so overall the trip to LA went pretty smoothly overall.